humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Usha Mataji. Thank you for joining in. I will announce in 3 minutes, Mataji. Thank you.
No.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Today reciters are Jai Mataji will be reciting in Sanskrit and Usha Mataji will be reciting in English from Canto 3, Chapter 26, verses 59 to 72. So Jai Mataji, whenever you're ready, can you please start with invocation 3 times? Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Nadyo asya nirabhidyanta tabhyo lohitam apratam nadya tatah samabhavan udaram nirabhidyata.
The vein of the universal body become manifested and thereafter a red corpuscles or blood. In their wake came the rivers, the deities presiding over the veins, and then appeared an abdomen.
Shutpipase tatah syatam samudra tva etyor abhut अथास्य हृदयं भिन्नं हृदयान्मन उत्थितम्.
Next grew feelings of hunger and thirst, and in their wake came the manifestation of the ocean. Then a heart became manifest, and in the wake of the heart the mind appeared.
मनसा चन्द्रमा जातो बुद्धिर्बुद्धेर्गिरां पति अहङ्कारस्ततो चित्तं चैत्य ततो अभवत्.
After the mind, the moon appeared. Intelligence appeared next, and after intelligence, Lord Brahma appeared. Then the false ego appeared, and then Lord Shiva. And after the appearance of Lord Shiva came consciousness and the deity presiding over consciousness.
एते ह्य अभ्युत्थिता देवा न एव स्य उत्थापने अशकन् पुनरविविशुः खानि तम् उत्थापयितुं क्रमात्.
When the demigods and the presiding deities of the various senses were thus manifested, they wanted to wake their origin of appearance, but upon failing to do so, they re-entered the body of the Virat Purush one after another in order to wake him.
वह्निर्वाचा मुखं भेजे न ओदतिष्ठत् तदा विराट् घ्राणेन नासिके वायुर्न ओदतिष्ठत् तदा विराट्.
The god of fire entered his mouth with the organ of speech, but the Virat Purush could not be aroused. Then the god of wind entered his nostrils with the sense of smell, but still the Virat Purush refused to be awakened.
अक्षिणी चक्षुषादित्यो न उद्दिष्ठत् तदा विराट् श्रोत्रेण कर्णौ च दिशो न उद्दिष्ठत् तदा विराट्.
The sun god entered the eyes of the Virat Purush with the sense of sight, but still the Virat Purush did not get up. Similarly, the predominating deities of the direction entered through his ears with the sense of hearing, but still he did not get up.
वक्षं रोमभिरोषध्यो न ओदतिष्ठत् तदा विराट् रेतसा शिश्नम् आपस्तु न ओदतिष्ठत् तदा विराट्.
The predominating deities of the skin, herbs, and seasoning plants entered the skin of the Virat Purus with the hair of the body, but the cosmic being refused to get up even then. The god predominating over water entered his organ of generation with the faculty of procreation, but the Virat Purus still would not rise.
गुदं मृत्युरपानेन न उद्दिष्ठत् तदा विराट् हस्ताव इन्द्रो बलेनैव न उदतिष्ठत् तदा विराट्.
The god of death entered his anus with the organ of defecation, but the Virat Purush could not be served to activity. The god Indra entered the hands with their power of grasping and dropping things, but the Virat Purush would not get up even then.
विष्णुर्गत्यैव चरणौ नोदिष्ठत् तदा विराट् नादीर्नद्यो लोहितेन न उद्दिष्ठत् तदा विराट्.
Lord Vishnu entered his feet with the faculty of locomotion, but the Virat Purus refused to stand up even then. The rivers entered his blood vessels with the blood and the power of circulation, but still the cosmic being could not be made to stir.
शुत्रुभ्यम् उदरं सिन्धुर्न उद्दिष्ठत् तदा विराट् हृदयं मनसा चन्द्रो न उद्दिष्ठत् तदा विराट्.
The ocean entered the abdomen with hunger and thirst, but the cosmic being refused to rise even then. The moon god entered his heart with the mind, but the cosmic being would not be roused.
बुद्ध्या ब्रह्मापि हृदयं न उदतिष्ठत् तदा विराट् रुद्रोऽभिमत्या हृदयं न उदिष्ठत् तदा विराट्.
Brahma also entered his heart with the intelligence, but even then the cosmic being could not be prevailed upon to get up. Lord Rudra also entered his heart with the ego, but even then the cosmic being did not stir.
चित्तेन हृदयं चैत्यः क्षेत्रज्ञः प्रविशाद यदा विराट् तदैव पुरुषः सलीलाद् उदतिष्ठत.
However, when the inner controller, the deity presiding over consciousness, entered the heart with reason, at that very moment the cosmic being arose from the causal waters.
यथा प्रक्षुब्धं पुरुषं प्राणेन्द्रियमनोधियः प्रभावन्ति विनायेन न उत्थापयितुम् ओजसा.
When a man is sleeping, all his material assets, namely the Virat energy, the senses for recording knowledge, the senses for working, the mind and the intelligence, cannot arouse him. He can be aroused only when the supersoul helps him.
तम् अस्मिन् प्रत्यगात्मानं धिया योगप्रवृत्तया भक्त्या विरक्त्या ज्ञानेन विविच्यतात्मनि चिन्तयेत्.
Therefore, through devotion, detachment, and advancement in, can you scroll it up, please? Krishna, can you scroll it up? Okay, thank you. Therefore, through devotion, detachment, and advancement in spiritual knowledge acquired through concentrated devotional service, one soul contemplate that super soul as present in this very body, although simultaneously apart from it. Hare Krishna. Sorry if I make any mistake, please forgive me.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you, Usha Mataji and Jai Mataji, for the beautiful recitation. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Please forgive my mistakes. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So beautiful. Thank you so much for the devotees joining this evening to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, and giving you this opportunity to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam as well. Okay, before we enter into Srimad Bhagavatam, we shall offer our humble obeisances to all our Acharyas, Krishna, Radharani, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all our Guru Parampara. अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांशं श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांशाम्। हे कृष्ण करुणसिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिविकासस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृणुतां स्वकथाः कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृद्यन्तस्त्वह्य भद्राणि विजुनोति सुहृसतां नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। एते चांशकलाः पुंसः कृष्णस्तु भगवान् स्वयम् इन्द्रारिव्याकुलं लोकं मृडयन्ति युगे युगे। इदं भागवतं नाम पुराणं ब्रह्मसंहितम् उत्तमश्लोकचरितं चकार भगवान् ऋषिः निःश्रेयसाय लोकधन्यं स्वस्तये नमः। कृष्णे स्वदामोपगते धर्मज्ञानादिभिः सह खलु न शुश्रूषामीश पुराणार्कोऽधिनोदितः। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्घ्रये। अति विश्वेश विश्वात्मन् विश्वमूर्ते स्वकेषु मे स्नेहपाशम् इमं चिन्तिदुःखं पाण्डुषु वृष्णिषु त्वयि मेनन्यविषयमतिरुमदपते असकृत् रतिमुद्वाहत गङ्ग्यवघुमुदन्वति। श्रीकृष्ण कृष्ण सख विष्णुर्षुभावनिधृराजन्यवंशदहनानपर्घवीर्य गोविन्द गोद्विजसुरात्यहरावतार योगेश्वर अखिल गुरो भगवन् नमस्ते। योगेश्वर अखिल गुरो भगवन् नमस्ते। योगेश्वर अखिल गुरो भगवन् नमस्ते। तुलयामलवेनापि न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवं भगवत्सङ्गसङ्गस्य मज्जानं किमुताशशः पुनश्च भूयाद् भगवत्यनन्ते रतिः प्रसङ्गाश तदाश्रयेषु महस्तु यामुप्यां सृष्टिं मैत्रस्तु सर्वत्र नमो द्विजेभ्यः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरं श्रीचैतन्यप्रभुं वन्दे बालोऽपि यदनुग्रहात् तरेनानमतग्राः व्याप्तं सिद्धान्तसागरम् श्रीचैतन्यप्रभुं वन्दे यत्पादाश्रीविदितः सङ्गृणाचाकरव्रातात् अज्ञः सिद्धान्तसन्मनीम्। ॐ नमो भगवते राधा गोविन्दाय नमः। हरे कृष्ण। Okay, thank you for kindly waiting. Okay, I shall share my screen. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam. It is third canto, chapter 26. It is fundamental principles of the cosmic manifestation. So, or material nature. Okay, so here this summary of this chapter is so far we have discussed in detail shloka by shloka. So today we are discussing the summary. It is the longest chapter. So where Kapil Bhagavan has been describing this fundamentals of material nature unto Devhuti Mata, his mother. She was very inquisitive. In the 25th chapter, she was very inquisitive. Purushasya Lakshanam. So I wanted to know about the material nature and also the Purusha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So likewise, she was very inquisitive on that side. In the chapter of glories of Bhakti Yoga. And then here, so far he has explained Bhakti Yoga. Now coming to the material nature. Here, whoever understands this material nature, they will be freed from the materialistic entanglement. Okay, likewise, Kapil Bhagavan starts this shloka from the beginning. So here, mainly it is described in the categorized into four sections. The first section is the glories of understanding this knowledge. Second one is second section. It inclusives of what are the different elements of the material nature. That is the second section. So the first 10 shlokas and then later on next 20 shlokas approximately. And then next section is how each and every element gradually develops from one element, from starting from mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, likewise, until the creation of the earth. Creation of the earth, all the last element is the earth. So that is one section. And then later on, the Lord enters into the, whenever all the material ingredients are ready, Lord enters into the material nature. During that time, the amalgamation takes place. And then, so when during that time, the Lord divided himself into different parts, different departments, like the hands, legs, and then different demigods along with their functions, everything get manifested until the consciousness. And then even though everything got manifested, but Lord does not wake up. So now they are going to enter all of the demigods into the, along with their senses and the knowledge, enter into the cosmic being. But cosmic being, he does not wake up until the consciousness enters. Until the consciousness enters. Okay, so and finally he concludes. So therefore, my dear mother, so these are the different elements and then their functions, but without consciousness, without the super soul, even cosmic being does not wake up. So we surrender onto that super soul. Likewise, he concludes. Okay, so here this is the initial shloka. So within this 4 or 5 sections, we will be going in a brief manner in the middle so that we cover the essential shlokas in the beginning. Okay, so just giving a little bit of how this cosmic being comes. So the first initially is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then there is a Pradhana, which is the unmanifested form, and then later on Prakriti is the manifested. Whenever Lord injects his power into Pradhana, and then Prakriti gets manifested. So from Prakriti, which is activated material nature, it starts from Mahatattva. And from Mahatattva, Ahankara is exhibited into Sattvaguna, Tamoguna, and Rajoguna. From Sattvaguna, all the demigods and mind get generated. From the Rajoguna, the senses and their corresponding knowledge get generated. And from the mode of ignorance, these Panchabhutas and Tanmatras, they get generated. Okay, that is how finally Earth gets generated. And then later on, Lord enters and living beings come into the existence. Okay, so this is just a picture, high level picture. So we shall move into the chapter 26. Okay, Shri Bhagavan Vacham Atate Sampravakshami Tatvanam Lakshanam Pratak Yad Bhritva Vimucheta Purushaha Prakrutaihi Gunaihi. So he says to Devu, Atate Sampravakshami, my dear mother, therefore I speak Sampravakshami Tatvanam Lakshanam Pratak. This scientifically, I will explain all this absolute truth. Tatvanam Lakshanam Pratak, distinctive features. Yad Bhritva Vimucheta, whoever understands, Yad Bhritva Vimucheta, he will be relieved from Purushaha Prakrutaihi Gunaihi, the living entity freed from the prakrutehi gunehi, from the material nature. At the moment, he is entangled with the goodness, passion, and ignorance. Okay, so and then further next he speaks about the my dear mother, I speak this knowledge and also in scientifically how one can understand the Purusha. Jnanam nishresardhaya purushasya atmadarshanam yadahuhu varnayetate hridaya grindhi bhedanam. Once you understand, there will be hridaya grindhi bhedanam. So one can cut the knot that is attachment with this material hridaya grindhi. Jnanam nishresardhaya. This is for ultimate perfection. This knowledge is for ultimate perfection. Purushasya atmadarshanam. And one can see his self-realization. One can realize this Atma-darshanam, self-realization. Yadahu varnetit, I shall explain this unto you, mother. Hridaya grandhi bhedanam. Once you understand, then there will be attachment to this material world or cut. The knots will be cut. But this one, when it would understand, when it would cut in the previous shlokas, he was mentioning, Devahuti Mata is also asking, Tamtva gadaham saranam saranyam gato Swabhrutya samsara taroh putaram. Swabhrutya samsara taroh putaram. If anyone surrenders onto the Lord, then Lord will cut the knots and the relationships of all his family and everything else. Swabhrutya samsara taroh putaram. Samsara is the birth, old age, disease, and death, this life cycle. So he will cut the complete attachments with this material world. Yes, so here he is mentioning Hridaya Grindhi Bhedanam. Okay, and then starting from Anadiratma Purusho Nirgunaha Prakrute Paraha Pratyagdhama Swayam Jyoti Vishwam Yena Samanvitam. So Anadiratma Purusho, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nirgunaha Prakrute Paraha. He is completely transcendental. Prakrute Paraha, transcendental to this material nature. Pratyagdhama Swayam Jyoti. Pratyagdhama Swayam Jyoti. Swayam Jyoti he is self-effulgent and Pratyagdhama perceivable everywhere. Vishwamyena Samanvitam. He is existing in this universe. Entire. So this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Super Soul, and he has no beginning. He is transcendent to the material modes of nature and beyond the existence of this material world. He is perceivable everywhere. And because he is self-effulgent, and by his self-effulgent luster, the entire creation is maintained. So again, when we say Vishnu, Vishnu means who has all pervading within the Vishwam. He is called Vishnu. Nu means who has completely full within the universe is Vishnu. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so again, there are different dimensions and he maintains. And here he describes that qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here he enters into this universe as just a play, just as a plaything. This is Sayesha Prakritim Sukshmam Dhaivim Gunamayim Vibhuhu Yadhrutya Upagatam Abhyagatya sorry Abhyapadyata Lelaya just by is a Lela, is a pastime. Okay, that is again entering into this universe. It is only one expansion of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, Atava Bhukunetena Kim Jnatena Tavajuna Vishtavyaham Idam Krishnam Ekamshena Stito Jagat. Just by my one expansion, I create, maintain, and destroy this entire cosmic manifestation. That is Mahavishnu. He is one expansion of Krishna. Okay, here Lord enters into this form in the by Leelaya, by his pastime, by say his pastime, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the greatest of great, accept the subtle material energy, which is invested with three material modes of nature, and which is related with Vishnu. Okay, this is but Krishna, as far as Krishna concerned, he never come in contact with Maya. But whereas Mahavishnu, Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, and Kshirodak Sai Vishnu, they are engaged in the somewhere or other materialistic cosmic manifestation. And here, how this people will be bewildered by the different kinds of forms in this material world. Here Kapil Bhagwan says, Gunaihi vichitraha srujitim sarupaha prakritim prajaha vilokya mumuhe sadhyaha saiha jnana gohaya. Gunaihi vichitraha srujitim. By three material modes of nature, living entity accepts one particular kind of body. That is by gunaihi vichitraha srujitim, sarupaha, their own forms, prakritim prajaha. This material nature gives different bodies according to the consciousness of a living entity. Vilokya mumhe sadhyaha saiha jnana guhaya. So here, divided into varieties by her threefold modes, material nature creates the forms of living entities, and the living entities seeing this are illusioned by the knowledge covering feature of the illusory energy. This is by illusory energy. So as soon as the living entity comes into this material world, he is bewildered. Before he appears, Brahma has created there are six nascent engagements. Sasajagri, Anata Mishra, Atata Mishra, Adikrut, Mahamoham Chamoham Cha, Ajnanam, Tamaha, Tamasha Vrittayaha. These are different kinds of material nascent engagements. So by that, later on, the four Kumaras, after that, Lord Shiva, they were all manifested. Okay, anyone who is created by Brahma, everyone are under illusory energy of the Lord. Okay, and then further, Kapil Bhagavan describes that by this illusory energy, one thinks that he is only the reason for all his activities. So here, evam parabhidhyanena katritvam prakrutehe puman karma sukriyamaneshu gunaihi atmani manyate. Gunairatmani manyate. He thinks that, he considers, I am the doer. Evam parabhidhyanena katritvam prakrutehe puman. Again, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that Prakutehe krimanani gunehi karmani sarvashaha ahankar vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. I am the only doer. But actually, material nature is working based on three material modes of nature on a person who has accepted a body according to his consciousness. It is material nature is working. But devotees, they do not serve the material nature. Asevayayam prakrutir gunanam yogena may arpitaya jnanena vairagya vijrumbitena yogena may arpitaya cha bhaktya mam pratyagatmanam ihavunde. They do not serve material nature. Because devotees always keeping the Lord in their heart and serve, engaging in the devotional service. Yes, but here, who is not devotee, he is bewildering. He thinks that he is the doer. And then he says that because of the material conceptions, he is entangled in this material world. Tadasya samsidir bandhaha paratantram chitat krutam bhavati akattuhrishasya sakshino nirutatmanaha. Sakshino nirvutatmanaha. So here, material consciousness is the false ego, is the cause of one's conditioned life, in which conditions are enforced upon the living entity by the material energy, although the spirit soul does not do anything and is transcendental to such activities. He is thus affected by conditional levels. So whenever Arjuna also raises this question, why any living entity here, Bhalan Yodita, even though he does not like it, but he will be forced to do some activities. Okay, but Krishna says, Kama Yesha Krodha Yesha Rajoguna Samudbhavaha. It is for desire and then anger and greed. These are all still covering that living entity. These are entangled him in the material world. So again, he says that but living entity, though he doesn't do, he is the experiencing pains and pleasures, but actually material nature is doing everything. Karya karana katritve karanam prakritim viduhu bhoktritve sukudhukanam purusham prakutehe param. So here, so karya karana katritve karanam prakritim viduhu prakritim. Everything material nature, it does the playing, story, direction, and everything does by material nature. But Purusha, the living entity, he simply occupies one particular body and he experiences pains and pleasures. Bhokturitve, he is regarding these perceptions. Bhokturitve sukadukkanam, of happiness and of the distress. Purusham prakutehe param, though he does not belong to material world, but he experiences pains and pleasures. So in such a way, Kapil Bhagwan describes briefly. Later on, Devhuti Mata is asking, can you please describe the characteristics of this Purusha? Okay, and then she is asking here the question. So Devhutiruvacham Prakritehe Purushasyapi Lakshanam Purushottama Bruhi Karanayorasya Sadasaccha Yadatmakam. Okay, so can you please describe about the Purusha? Devhuti said, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, kindly explain the characteristics of the Supreme Person and his energies, for both of these are the causes of this manifest and unmanifest creation. Okay, so likewise, Devhuti Mata is asking question. Now, Kapil Bhagavan, this is up to here, one section. Next is the second section. Kapil Bhagavan describes about the Purusha, how the material elements come. Starting from the pradhana. So just again showing a little bit of here. So here the gray bit, it is the pradhana, which is unmanifested form. Just put up in a Excel format so that for easy understanding. And then later on the mahatattva. This is from the manifested material nature. Before that pradhana is unmanifested form. Okay, that one again we see in the picture here. So this one, that okay, pradhana is the topmost, and then Kapil Bhagavan starting to describe all these elements here. Okay, this is we are going to discuss that one. Shri Bhagavan Vacham Yattatrigunam Avyaktam Nityam Sad Asadatmakam Pradhanam Prakritim Prahuhu Avishesham Visheshavat Yattatrigunam Avyaktam. This Triguna is always in the unmanifested form. Nityam Sad Asadatmakam. So they always exist within this material world. But in the pradhana, they are in the balanced form. And then in the prakriti, so there will be amalgamation. So nityam, again, pradhanam prakritim prahuhu. One is pradhanam and prakritim prahuhu. And it is said, avishesham visheshavat. Avishesham is pradhanam, visheshavat is prakriti, is the manifested. Okay, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the unmanifested eternal combination of the three modes is the cause of the manifest state and is called Pradhana. It is called Prakriti when in the manifested stage of existence. And then further he says, different kinds of elements, the 24 elements like the 5 Tanmatras and 5 Panchabhutas and 5 Jnanendriyas, 5 Karnendriyas, 4 Antahkaranas, and mind, intelligence, ego, and the consciousness. These are the antahkaranas plus the time factor. Totally 25 elements. So he is going to explain these 25 elements. Panchabihi Brahma Chaturbihi Dashabihi Tada Etat Chaturvimshitikam Ganam Pradhanikam Viduhu. Panchabihi Brahma. The 5 elements, 5 gross elements, and another 5 Panchabihi is 5 subtle elements, Tanmatras, and Brahman, Chaturbihi, the 4 internal senses. These are Antahkaranas. And then Dashabihi, the 10, these are 5 senses for gathering knowledge and 5 organs for action. 5 Karnendriyas, 5 Jnanendriyas. Tada, in that way, Etat Chaturvimshitikam Ghanam. Etat, all this consisting of 24 elements. Ganam, the aggregate. Pradhanikam Vibhuhu, so comprising the pradhana. So Viduhu, they know the 24 elements. We shall move on to the next 12 sloka. And then what are they? 24 elements. Mahabhutani Panchaiva Bhurupabhur Marinnabham Tanmatrani Chitavanti Gandadini Matanimi Mahabhutani Panchaiva. 5 earth, water, fire, wind, and then space are ether. These are the 5 Mahabhutani Panchaiva. These are 5 elements. Bhurapur Agnir Marinnabham. These are given Bhu, Apaha, Agnihi, Marun, Nabaha. Nabaha is the sky. And Tanmatram cha Tavanti. Tanmatras, sense perceptions. This is the sense of sound, sense of touch, sense of sight, and sense of taste, sense of smell. These are tanmatrani. Tanmatrani stavanti gandhadini matanimi. Starting from all the gandha, the smell. These are the 5 elements. 5 subtle elements are tanmatras. And later on, he speaks about the senses. Indriyani dasasotram tvak drug grasana nasikaha vakaro charano medram payurdashama uchyate. Indriyani dasasotram. Indriyani, there are 10 senses. Dasasrotram. Srotram is the sense of hearing. And then tvag, the sense of touch, drug, sense of sight, and then rasana, sense of taste, and nasika, the sense of smell. Okay, these are the knowledge acquiring. And then vak karo charano medram payuddasya uchyate. The speech, vak is speech, karo, organ of speech, karo, the hands, charano, and legs, and then medram. Medram is the generative organ, and payuhu, evacuating organ. Dasya uchyate. These are the another 10 elements totally. So top one Panchabhutas Tanmatras 10. Here the senses, Karanendriyas and Jnanendriyas, there are 10. Totally 20 elements. Now coming to the Antahkaranas. Mano Buddhir Ahankaraha Chittamiti Antaratmakam Chaturdha Lakshite Bhedo Urcha Lakshana Rupaya. Mind, so Manoho Buddhihi Ahankaraha Chittam, mind, intelligence, and false ego, and Chittam is given as a consciousness. These are 4 antahkaranas. Chaturdha lakshate bhedo. So these are given antaratmakam. They are all internal senses, subtle senses. Chaturdha lakshate bhedo. These are the 4. And lakshate, they are observed by vrutya lakshana rupaya, by the distinct functions. Based on the distinct functions. Mind is always thinks, sankalpa vikalpabhyam, the buddhi, intelligence. It thinks viparya, so nishchaha. So whether I want to do it, I don't want to do it. So this is called intelligence. Ahankaraha, false ego, or ego or false ego. But whenever it is coming to the material bodily conception, it is false ego. Whenever it is purified, it is good ego. We will see that one. And then these are all being known by their symptoms. We are also going to see what are the characteristics and different functions and symptoms of them. Okay, these are the 4 elements. Okay, totally 24. And then further, he speaks about the time factor. So he says, Etavanyeva sankyato brahmanaha sagunasyaha sannivesho maya prokto yah kalaha panchavimshakaha. Kalaha panchavimshaka. Along with the time, totally 25 elements. So all these are considered the qualified Brahman, because Brahman is generally called Nirguna Brahman. But here, Sagunasyaha, when the Lord comes into here material nature, in the universal cosmic being, it is called Saguna Brahman, qualified Brahman. And Shannivesu Maya Prokto Yah Kalaha Panchavimshaka. So there is, along with the time, totally 25 elements. The mixing element, which is known as time, is counted as the 25th element. And then this time factor, what it will do? It will make fear on all the living entities. People may be thinking that I may be afraid when I am going to die, what is going to happen tomorrow, and what has happened in the past, thinking of it, and he will think of the future and then get fear. This is Prabhavam Paurusham Prahu Kalam Yeka Yeto Bhayam Ahankar Vimudasya Katdho Prakriti Miyushaha. This Prabhavam Paurusham Prahu. So the influence of the time, influence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is felt in the time factor. So Lord in the Kalena Abhyakta Buddhina. It is unmanifested form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the time. Kalena Abhyakta Buddhina. It is called the influence of Supreme Personality of Godhead is felt in the time factor, which causes fear of death due to the false ego of the deluded soul who has contacted material nature. Okay, so that's why devotees Kshemaya Padamolame Pravishanti akuto bhayam. They always take the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. They do not have to fear for anything. This shoka moha bhayapaha. No more lamentation, no more fear, no more illusion. That is the devotee's position. But a bewildered soul who is in the material nature, he is always fear of his death. Kalam eke ito bhayam. It gives a fear. Krishna says, Kaulosmi lokakshakrut pravruddho. I am, because of me, everything gets manifested and destroyed. Kaulosmi, I am the time. The Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says. And then further, next, what he says, my dear mother. So in this way, the column, so influence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, both influence of the Lord plus the time, mixing within these elements, so universe will come into the picture. Okay, so this one is described. Prakrutehe gunasamyasya nirvisheshasya manavi chesta yataha sa bhagavan kala iti upalakshitaha. Kala iti upalakshitaha. So, my dear mother, O daughter of Swayambhu, the time factor, as I have explained, is Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom the creation begins as a result of the agitation of the neutral, unmanifested nature. Agitation of, this is agitation. Prabhupada gives very like a man, he wakes up his wife, so just for a union, so that they wanted to beget children. Likewise, the Lord's agitation of this material nature, so the unmanifested nature, and then later on, Prakriti will be manifested with so many living entities. So, and then further, Kapil Bhagavan describes how one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the different kinds of pains and pleasures in due course of time. So, because okay, we shall go into this sloka. Antaha Purusha Rupena Kala Rupena Yo Bahihi Samanvetyesha Sattvanam Bhagavan Atma Maya. Bhagavan Atma Maya. Antaha Purusha Rupena. The Lord is in the heart of all the living entities. Antaha Purusha Rupena. Inside is the Purusha Rupena. Outside is Kala Rupena Yo Bahihi. The time factor. Samanvetyesha Sattvanam. He will make the living entity to experience those pains and pleasures for whatever the purpose he has come into this material world. Bhagavan Atma Maya. So by exhibiting his potency, the Supreme Personality of Godhead adjusts all these different elements, keeping himself within as a super soul and without as a time. And then further it describes how Lord agitates the material nature. And then he injects the semen into this material nature, and then what it is called Hiranmayam, Mahatattvam Hiranmayam. Dhaivakyupita dharminyam swasyam yonah paraha puman adatya bijam sasuta Mahatattvam Hiranmayam. Dhaivakyupita dharminyam. So Lord agitating, Chubita is called agitation. Dhaivat, by the destiny of the conditioned souls. Dharminyam, whose equilibrium of the Swasyam Yo. Swasyam is the, what is that one? Swasyam by his word, Yo now in the womb, material nature. You know, Parahapuman, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, here all the living entities are injected into the material nature. Daivat Kyubita Dharminyam, Swasyam Yo naho Parahapuman. Adatya Viryam Sasota, and Adatta is impregnating the material nature. Viryam, the semen, he is internal by internal potency. Adatya Viryam Sasota, Sa is the she, material nature. Asota is delivered. And all the living entities, they get it with different bodies later on. So here, Mahatattvam Hiranmayam. Mahatattvam, the sum total of cosmic intelligence. Sum total of, this is Mahatattvam. This is the Mahatattvam, is the cosmic intelligence. So here when Lord injects his semen into Prakriti, then Mahatattva will come into the existence. Mahatattvam, the sum total of cosmic intelligence. Hiranmayam, it is known as Hiranmaya. Okay? After the Supreme Personality of Godhead impregnates material nature with his internal potency, material nature delivers the sum total of cosmic intelligence, which is known as Hiranmaya. This takes place in the material nature when she is agitated by the destinations of the conditioned souls. Okay, and then further, whenever he agitates, how it is going to be manifested. So far, there is no life. Now, when the Lord agitates it with the life, what is going to happen? Previously, it was completely dark. Now it will be with effulgent. Vishwamatmagatam Vyanjan Kotasto Jagadankurah Swatejasa Apipattivram Atma Praswapanam Tamaha. Here, Vishwam Atmagatam Vyanjan. Vishwam Atmagatam Vyanjan Kotasto Jagat Ankuraha. Okay, let us go and see the translation. Thus, after manifesting variegatedness, the effulgent Mahatattva, which contains all the universes within itself, which is the root of all cosmic manifestations and which is not destroyed at the time of annihilation, swallows the darkness that cover the effulgence at the time of dissolution. Okay, so this is Lord's effulgence enter into Mahatattva. And then further, he describes now Mahatattva is having the life, which contains all life symptoms or mind, intelligence, and ego. Those four are antahkaranas, and then the 20 elements plus time factor. Now here, when the life come into the existence, initially he is explaining the consciousness, which is like the soul of the cosmic manifestation. But it is pure before it comes into the cosmic manifestation. And whenever it comes there, it will be contaminated, mixed with the Mahatattva. So, Yattat Sattvagunam Swacham Syantam Bhagavatah Padam Yadahuhu Vasudevakyam Chittam Tad Mahadatmakam. This pure consciousness is called Vasudeva. It is called Yadahuhu Vasudeva Akyam. It is called Vasudeva Sthiti. And Chittam Tad Mahadatmakam. This consciousness is the soul of Mahad. Soul of the Mahad, manifest in the Mahad Tattva. So this consciousness, yet that Sattva Gunam, this mode of goodness, Swacham, it is a pure. Shantam Bhagavataha Padam. One can understand on that state. Sattum Shuddham Vasudev Siddhitam Yedite Tatra Pumana Pavrutaha Satveja Tasmin Bhagavan Vasudevo Hedokchayo Me Namasa Vidhiyate. Lord Shiva says to Mother Parvati or Sati Devi. Okay, so that I see the Supreme Personality of Godhead in that pure goodness, mode of pure goodness. This is Swacham, Sattvagunam Swacham, Shantam Bhagavataha Padam. Okay, so the mode of goodness, which is clear, sober status of understanding personality of Godhead, and which is generally called Vasudeva or consciousness, becomes manifest in the Mahatattva. Okay, this is consciousness. Again, what it is, qualities are before giving the analogy, like the rainwater, whenever it touches the soil, it becomes muddy water. Before that, it was pure distilled water. Likewise, consciousness as well. Swachatvam avikaritvam santatvam iti chetasaha vruttibhihi lakshanam proktam yatapam prakritihi para. After the manifestation of the Mahatattva, these features appear simultaneously. As water in its neutral natural state before coming in contact with earth is clear, sweet, and unruffled. So the characteristic traits of pure consciousness are complete serenity, clarity, and freedom from distraction. Okay, this is what in Krishna consciousness we are all trying for, becoming pure consciousness. This is called Krishna consciousness. Pure consciousness is Krishna consciousness. Then we understand that the pure devotion unto Krishna, then it happens when we are purified from all kinds of materialistic entanglement stuff. Okay, this is about consciousness, and later on about the different. Next one is the ego, intelligence, and then mind. These things are all there. They will be coming from the um, uh, different uh, different modes of material nature. Okay, so here from the mode of goodness, that mind plus demigods get generated, and from passion, the 10 senses and their knowledge gets generated, and then ignorance, tanmatras, and material elements. So these are all getting generated, but for them it is introductory shloka. महत्तत्वाद् विकुर्वाणात् भगवत्वीर्य संभवात् क्रियाशक्तिः अहंकारः त्रिविधः समपद्यताम्. Trividaha samapadyata mahatattvad vikurvanat. When the mahatattva was agitated, vikurvanat, agitated, then bhagavad virya sambhavat, by the bhagavad virya. Then what happens? Kriya saktihi ahankaraha trividaha samapadyata. So false ego and kriya saktihi, okay, these are all get manifested. There are three kinds. Trividaha samapadyata. The three got manifested. What are they? Vaikarikaha and Tejasasya, Tamasasya. This is goodness, passion, and ignorance. Vaikarikas, Tejasasya, Tamasasya, Yato Bhavaha. Those three got manifested. And then from them, Manasaha, mind got generated from Vaikarikaha, Tejasasya, Indriyanam. The senses got generated from the passion. And then from Tamasa, Bhotanam, Mahatamapi, all the material elements, the 5 material elements plus tanmatras, they got generated from the ignorance. Vaikarikah tajasasya tamasasya bhavaha mansasya indriyanam cha bhotanam mahatamapi. Okay, so at the moment these ingredients are getting prepared. Okay, just only the ingredients. Okay, so here the material ego springs up from the Mahatattva, which evolved from the Lord's own energy. The material ego is endowed predominantly with active power of three kinds: good, passionate, and ignorant. It is from these three types of material ego that the mind, the senses of perception, organs of action, and gross elements evolve. Okay, and then further, different kinds of demigods who represent this false ego and the mind and then intelligence, these are described and along with their functions. So here, starting from the false ego, here Sankarshana is the presiding deity for it. Sahasrasirasam sakshat yamanantam prachakshate Sankarshanakyam purusham bhutendriya manomayam. So here, Sankarshanakyam, the threefold ahankara, the source of the gross elements, the senses, and the mind, is identical with them because it is their cause. It is known by the name of Sankarshana, who is directly Lord Ananta with 1,000 heads. Is it 1,000 heads? This is the ahankara, and what are its functions? It is described Katratvam Karanatvam cha Karyatvam Cheti Lakshanam Santa Ghora Vimudatvam Itivasyat Ahankrutehe. These are the characteristics of the ahankara. What are they? This false ego is characterized as the doer. This is Katrutvam, and then as an instrument as an effect. Karanatvam cha. And karyatvam, it is further characterized as serene, active, or dull according to how it is influenced by the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Okay, so these are different characteristics of the ahankara. Santa ghora vimodatvam iti vasyat aham kuritehe. And then further, describing from mode of goodness. So far it is the ahankara. Now coming to the mind. Mind is generated from the mode of goodness. And for that one, Aniruddha is the presiding deity. And what would happen? The Sankalpa and Vikalpabhyas, they will be sprout from the mind. I want to do it, I like it, I don't like it. Such kind of Sankalpas and Vikalpa. So Vaikarika Vikurvana Manhatatm Ajayata Yat Sankalpa Vikalpabhyam Vattate Kama Sambhavaha. So from the Vaikarika, this is goodness. Vikurvana, again by the influence of the Lord. Manha Tattvam Ajayata. mind get generated. Yet sankalpa vikalpabhyam, the place for sankalpa and vikalpas. Vattate kama sambhava, where all desires will sprout from the mind. Okay, so from the false ego of goodness, another transformation takes place. From this evolve the mind, whose thoughts and reflections give rise to desire. Okay, and then further describing about the presiding deity, about the mind. Yad viduhi anuruddhakyam krushikanam adishwaram sarad indivarasyamam samrajyam yogi bihi sanaihi. So he is called, the presiding deity is called Aniruddha. The mind of the living entity is known by the name of Lord Aniruddha, the supreme ruler of the senses. He possesses a bluish black form resembling a lotus flower growing in the autumn. He is found slowly by the yogis. So this is mind, and mind preceding that is Aniruddha, and now functions of the mind. Functions, this is also described there, Sankalpikalpabhyam. Next is the from mode of passion, what happens? The intelligence gets manifested. Tayasatu vikurvanat buddhi tattvam abhutsati dravya spurna vijnanam indriyanam anugraha. Mode of passion. Tayasatu vikurvanat, when it is agitated by the mode of passion, buddhi tattvam abhut. Buddhi, the intelligence get manifested, with which dravya spurana vijnanam. How to function these senses? Dravya spurana vijnanam. How can I use my hands and legs and senses? That kind of knowledge. Indriyanam, all the 10 indriyas. Anugraha, it will be anugraha, giving assistance. By transformation of false ego in passion, intelligence takes birth. O virtuous lady, the functions of the intelligence are to help in ascertaining the nature of objects when they come into view, and to help the senses. Okay, this is the passion. For this one, preceding deity is the Pradyumna, but it is not mentioned here. And by this one, by intelligence, what are the different functions? Samsayo ata viparyaso nishchayaha smritir evacha. Okay, I want to do it, I don't want to do it. This kind of samsayas, this is doubts. Samsayata viparyaso, misapprehensions. Nishchayaha is the correct apprehensions. Smritir evacha, so memory. So everything it will manifest from intelligence. Swapiti vichite buddhehe. Lakshanam vichidha prutak. These are different kinds of functions of intelligence. And then further is giving like a Taisan Indriyani eva Kriyadhan Vibhakashaha Pranasihi Kriyasektihi Buddhir Vijnana Sektitaha. And here from the Taisani Indriyani eva, from the mode of passion itself, the Kriya Jnana Vibhakashaha. And also corresponding Kriya Sektihi, Prana Sektihi, they will also be manifested to carry out those senses, to carry out the functions of those senses. So here, egoism in the mode of passion produces two kinds of senses. Senses for acquiring knowledge and the senses of action. The senses of action depend on the vital energy, this prana sekti. And the senses for acquiring knowledge is the depend on the intelligence. Okay, these are all coming from intelligence. Next is the ignorance. Coming to the next one. So from here, this is tanmatras and 5 material elements: earth, water, fire, and then wind and ether. These 5, one after another, they will be manifested. How they will go? I would briefly give a little bit of description, but we skip in a summary way. So this is the initially from the mode of ignorance, sound will be manifested, and then from the sound, the ether, the sky get manifested. Along with that, there are the demigods, they will also get manifested. Okay, so the demigods like the tanmatras and their sound, touch, form, and then it conveys the idea of an object, indicates the presence of the speaker. And then where material element, corresponding material element is sky. And then here, the corresponding sense is the ears, if you look at here. And then Dig Devatas from the mode of goodness, ears from the passion, and from the ignorance, the sound, and then sky. This is one particular set. Okay, this is one set. And likewise, next after the sky, this touch get manifested. After say, if you look at here very closely, little bit closely here, there is a small line is coming here from the ether. The sense of touch, it will be sprout or it gets manifested, and later on the air gets also manifested, and gradually from air to form, and form to fire, and then fire to taste, and taste to water, and then water to the smell, smell to the earth, finally earth. The last element inclusive of all these tanmatras. Water element includes all the 4 elements. Fire includes the top 3. Air includes top 2. Ether contains only the sound. This is how it is going to be described. Okay, I just go very briefly, not in detail. But here, in other way, we can say this universe has manifested from the sound. Universe has manifested from the sound. If we wanted to understand by ourselves, that is self-realization, again, that is through the sound. If we wanted to go out of the universe, that is through by sound. That's like Bhagavan Shabda Gocharaha. Bhagavan Shabda Gocharaha. By chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one can piece out of. Again, there is a very beautiful one. So here, another form of the universe, the universal eggshell here, Garbhodak Sai Vishnu here from him. These 14 planetary systems where there is the earth, the middle one, where we are chanting here the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. It will take us, these sound vibrations will take us out of this universe, piercing the 7 layers of the universe, entering into the Brahma Jyoti, further crossing the Virja river, and then passing through. Because we chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, it will work. It will pass over through Vaikuntha planets as well, because we are associating with the Lord Krishna. So it will pass over. The topmost planet is the Goloka Vrindavan. So the chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is taking us to the lotus feet of the Lord in Goloka Vrindavan. Okay, this is sound vibration. Okay, from the sound is coming from the cosmic manifestation perspective, from the mode of ignorance. तामसाच विकुर्वाणात् भगवद्वीर्य चोरितात् शब्दमात्रम् अभूत् तस्मान् नभः श्रोत्रं तु शब्दगम्. Nabha Srotram to Sabdhagam. Nabha is the sky. Okay, so and then from the sound, the sky gets generated. Okay, and then further, this is how it Ardhashrayatvam Sabdasya Drashto Lingatvam Evacha Tanmatram Cha Nabaso Lakshanam Kavayo Viduhu. Again, different kinds of characteristics of this sound and then the sky. Persons who are learned, who have true knowledge, define sound as that which conveys the idea of an object, indicates the presence of a speaker, screened from our view, and constitutes the subtle form of ether. And then further, describing about the bhuta. Bhutanam chidradhatritvam bahir antaram evacha pranendriya atmadishnyatvam nabaso vritti hilakshanam. The qualities are characteristic of the sky. This is the activities and characteristic ethereal element can be observed as the accommodation of the room for the external and internal existences of all living entities, namely the field of activities of the vital air, the senses, and the mind. So because of the presence of the Lord, this universe expands and then it gives more space to the Lord. Again, it is mentioned later on. Nabo dadati swasatam padam dadaha. The sky gives the space because of the fear of the Lord. Inside the Lord is there. Okay, so and then we shall move on. So here, rest of the qualities are by the time factor and influence of the Lord. From the ethereal existence, which evolves from the sound, next transformation takes place under the impulse of time and the subtle element, the touch, and then hence the air and sense of touch become prominent. So this again, these are the touch contains the it feels cold and hot, soft and hard, these kind of things, characteristics. And then further, we shall move on to further quickly due to the time. And then similarly, sense of touch, and then the air, and then later on the form, and then the fire, they will also be manifested. And then from the fire, later on the sense of sense of taste, and then the water. Again, the characteristics of the water, characteristics of the fire, they're all been described here. And what is so here the fire, it is used to cook, digest, to destroy cold, to evaporate, and to give rise to hunger, thirst, eating and drinking. Again in the Bhagavad Gita, aham vaishwaronaro bhutva praninam dehamashritah pranapana samayuktah pachamyenam chaturvidam. I digest all the four kinds of food, bhaksha, bhokya, chohya, leha, four kinds of food items that living entities consume. So there is a fire in the term, it is called Jataragni. That is also Vaishwanara. So again, a few characteristics are given here. And then later on the taste, and then tongue here, different kinds of taste, and then smell, the senses. And then further, it feels different kinds of taste like sweet, bitter, pungent, sour. And then further, next one is the characteristics of the water also given here further. And this is a very beautiful one. Kledanam pindanam trutihi prana apyayana mundhanam tapapanodo bhuyastvam ambaso vritaya pimaha. So this is, one would feel the satisfaction. When we drink water, we feel the satisfaction. This is the characteristics. Okay, so again, it is mentioned here. It is the maintaining life, suffering, softening things, driving away heat, incessantly supplying itself to reservoirs of water. So causing many of these things is given. And later on, then similar to the taste as well. Taste, characteristics of the taste, and the smell, and then the characteristics of the earth. And where earth is, so the smells or odor, all the one becomes many as mixed, offensive, fragrant, mild, strong, acidic, and so on, according to the proportions of associated substances. And the characteristics, the functions of earth can be perceived by modeling forms of the Supreme Brahman. This is what we have got good experience of the earth, by constructing places of residence, by preparing pots to contain water, etc. In other words, the earth is the place of sustenance for all elements. It contains all the characteristics of the top elements, the sound and the touch and the taste, all those things, all the stuff that contains. Okay, so and then further, later on it is also mentioned. Just move on to here. So the sense whose object of perception is formed, distinct characteristics of fire, the sense of sight, again, what is the corresponding element, and also its tanmatra. So those functions, characteristics are described here. Okay, and then just move on to the further. So when all these elements are now all ready, these raw ingredients are ready before we cook. Now we have bought all the items, now put in front of the nearer to the stove. But now we need to cook it. So here, when all these elements were unmixed, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, origin of creation, along with the time, work, and qualities of the modes of material nature, entered into the universe with the total material energy in 7 divisions. The 7 divisions are like these are the 7 divisions, 7 layers. Lord enters into this universe and stays in the Garbhodaka ocean. 7 layers: earth, water, and then fire, air, and then this is ether, false ego, and mahatma. These 7 layers. And Lord enters here. And then later on, this amalgamation takes place. So here, from these 7 principles, roused into activity and united by the presence of the Lord, amalgamation taking place here. An unintelligent egg arose from which appeared the celebrated cosmic being. This celebrated cosmic being comes from the universe. Okay, so this is just a very beautiful picture is given about Virata form or Lord's cosmic form. And then here, Lord is staying within this anda for 1,000 yuga cycles. Chaturyuganam sahasramapsu swapan swaya udiritaya swasikya kala kiyatita karma tantro lokan apitan dadrushe swadehe. He stays there for 1,000 yuga cycles, and then this will gradually it would develop. Etad andham विशेषाख्यं क्रमबुद्धैः दशोत्तरैः तोयादिभिः परिवृतं प्रदानेन और्धैः बहिः. So this is the second another section of how the Lord getting developed. The cosmic being is getting developed. Jeta dandam visheshakyam krama vruddhaihi, gradual development. Dasha uttaraihi, and every layer, Dashottaraihi, again here in this, every earth layer is, if you think 1 centimeter, the water layer is 10 centimeters, and then fire layer 100 centimeters, air layer is the 10, another 10 multiplies by 10. So 1,000, and then 100,000, a million, something like that, keeps on 10 times. Dashavuttaraihi, 10 times bigger. And Toyadibihi Parivutam Pradhanina Aurdaihi Bahihi. Yatra Loka Vitanoyam Rupam Bhagavato Harehe. This is the universal form of the Lord Hari. Within this yet, the universal form of Lord Hari, of whose body 14 planetary systems are parts. 14 planetary systems. These are again given here 14 planetary systems. This is for actually 14. So one bottom to bottom 7 planet systems, and then top planet systems. But actually this one can be easily understood. 14 is given properly there. And then further, so from here onwards, different kinds of demigods from different parts of the body will be manifested. So here, Hiranmayad Andakoshat Vuttaya Salesayat Tam Avishya Mano Mahadevo Bahuda Nidbhibedakam. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Virata Purusha, situated himself in that golden egg which was lying on the water, and he divided it into many departments. So here, and what are getting manifested starting from the, so we'll go again briefly by the translations. So first of all, mouth appeared in him, and then came forth the organ of the speech, and with it God of fire, the deity who presides over the organ. So here what are happening? The sense is appearing, and then organ of the speech, and also God of presiding deity, okay, on that organ. So then gradually it is getting developed. After that, pair of nostrils appeared, and then appeared the olfactory sense as well as the prana, the vital air, okay, the function of the nostrils. Okay. Likewise, starting from mouth and then nostrils, and then further the wind god, the wake of the olfactory sense came to the wind god who presides over the sense. And thereafter, eyes god appeared, and then sense of sight, and then there is a sun god, and the next appeared in the pair of ears, the ears, and then auditory sense, and then dig devatas, the presiding deities are called dig devatas. Okay, they were manifested, and then further the skin get manifested, and then thereupon the hair, mustache, beard appeared, and then after all that, herbs and drugs became manifested, and then genitals also appeared. And then later on, the semen and the corresponding presiding deity is the Varuna. The presiding presides over the waters appears. And then the anus and the organ of the defecation, and thereupon the god of death, they are manifested, and who is feared throughout the universe is the god of death. And then from the hands, thereafter 2 hands of the universal form of the Lord became manifested, and with them power of grasping and dropping things. And after that, Lord Indra got appeared. Next, the legs became manifested. This is very interesting thing. Next, the legs became manifested, and with them the process of movement. And after the Lord Vishnu appeared. Lord Vishnu. So here, Vishnu as the Adidevata. Vishnu as Adidevata, not as the super soul. Here, as the Adidevata, he has entered. It's a locomotive function, faculty function. only for that particular function. For example, if I am going to somewhere in a particular position, not I'm playing with a child in a particular like another child, then I act like a child, though I'm a father. But here, Lord Vishnu is Adidevata, not as a super soul. So the function is different only for the locomotive functions. That's why it is very essential for the movement of the living entities. So Vishnu is the presiding deity for there as a Adidevata. But as a super soul, that's a different function. But later on, that is the deity of the consciousness. Okay. Next is the further, the veins of the universal body became manifested thereafter. That red corpuscles, blood, and their rivers get manifested, and the corresponding presiding deities or the veins, they're all manifested. And then after that, the hunger and thirst get manifested. And then wake came, so in there, wake came the manifestation of the oceans. Then heart became manifest, and in the wake of the heart, mind appeared. Okay, Hrudayam Uttitam. Okay, and then further, Manasaha Chandrama Dhatu. From the mind, the moon is the presiding deity for the mind. And for the Buddhir Gram Patihi, Brahma is the presiding deity for the intelligence. Ahankar Hattato Rudraha. Lord Shiva is the presiding deity for the false ego. Chittam Chetyaha Tato Abhavat. This is very essential. Chittam Chetyaha. And Chittam is the consciousness. Chetyaha, the presiding deity or the consciousness. This is Paramatma. Okay, it is a very essential. Without the Chittam or the consciousness, Supreme Being cannot wake up. Okay, after this, let everything get manifest. Demigods manifested, senses, and then corresponding organs and speech and functions, everything is manifested. Now, the Lord has to come into the existence. He has to perform, move, and do things. So here, Yetehi Abdita Deva, Naivasi Uttapani Ashakan, Punar Avishishu Kani, Tam Uttapitum Kramat, and but Lord does not wake up. Again, there are manifested now, and then they have to enter back again to wake him up. And then what happens here? Very beautiful things comes like starting from Vaishnirvacha Mukam Bheje No Virat. It is just like a children sing some Jani Jani is Papa eating sugar, no Papa, like that. All the demigods enter into the body of again. No, Lord does not wake up, Lord does not wake up. Likewise, starting from the Vahnirvacha Mukam Bheje, like the organs manifested, starting from mouth, nostrils, and ears, and everything. Likewise, they will gradually enter into the form of the cosmic being, but Lord does not wake up. And then even Brahma enters, Lord does not wake up. Lord Vishnu enters as a locomotive function, does not wake up. And then moon enters, does not wake up. Lord Shiva enters, not wake up. And then further, he enters as the super soul. Then Lord immediately wake up and sit. So this one, it comes like sloka number 70. So here, Chittena Hrudayam Chetyaha Kshetrajna Pravishadhyada Virat Purushaha Salidat Buddhitishtata. Even though everyone enters, cosmic being does not wake up. But however, in the inner controller, this is Chittam Hrudayam Chaityaha. The deity presiding over consciousness, he entered the heart with the reason. At that time, very moment, the cosmic being arose from the causal waters. He woke up. Okay, that is when, and then further, Kapila Bhagavan is describing here. Even though all elements are entering, they cannot wake up the cosmic being. Only the Lord Super Soul. Without help of the Super Soul, he cannot wake up. This is called Vishnu, who is all pervading Lord. So here, Yada Prasuptam Purusham Pranindriya Manodriyaha Prabhavanti Vinayena Na Uttaipitum Vodhasa. When a man is sleeping, all his material assets, namely the vital energy, senses for recording knowledge, the senses for working, the mind and intelligence cannot arouse him. He can be aroused only when the super soul helps him. So this is the Paramatma iti Udahritah. Again, he says, Upadrashtar mantra cha bhatta bhokta maheshwaraha. So there again, Krishna says, this is called Paramatma iti Udahritah. Whenever Lord is the overseer and he is give permission giver, likewise, Upadrashtar mantra cha bhatta bhokta maheshwaraha. Likewise, he says that one, Paramatma iti Udahritah. And then finally, he is concluding that therefore, tamasmin pratyagatmanam dhiyo yoga purvrittaya bhakcha virtya jnanena vivichatmani chintayet. So one has to always think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a super soul, not as any of material body or all those stuff. Okay, likewise, Kapila Bhagavan concludes here, tamasmin pratyagatmanam dhiyo yoga purvrittaya bhakcha virtya jnanena vivichatmani chintayet. Therefore, through the devotion, detachment, and advancement in spiritual knowledge acquired through concentrated devotional service, one should contemplate that super soul as present in this very body, although simultaneously apart from it. Okay, likewise, Kapil Bhagavan concludes this one. So, with that one, the summary of this 26th chapter, fundamental principles of the materialistic nature, how these elements gradually develop, and then even though they develop by influence of the time and the Lord's energy, they will develop, but they do not mix. When all elements get ready, then because of the Lord's entering into there, and the universe get manifested, but again, gradually it grows, and from the body of the Lord, all the demigods and functions, different organs manifested, but they do not function themselves. There is one beautiful shloka, different demigods, in order to perform their functions, they pray to the Supreme Personality of Godhead that we have seen in 3rd canto, 5th chapter, demigods prayers. Okay, so there are beautiful prayers again. There are a few of them. So one of them is like just last shloka brings here. Tatoyam mat prabhakaidatte bhulvatman karvama kinte twamnaha swachakshubh paridehe sekya deva kriyadhe yadanugrahanam. O Supreme Self, please give us, who are created in the beginning from the Mahatattva, the total cosmic energy, your kind directions on how we shall act. Kindly award us your perfect knowledge and potency so that we can render you service in the different departments of subsequent creation. Okay, there are beautiful prayers of demigods again in the before. This is the last shloka. It's the 3rd canto, 5th chapter. Okay, so that is what. Yeah, I stop there. It's very beautiful. There are so many things, but summary, it takes a lot of time. I stop, and I also request dear devotees, if you have got any kind of question on this one, kindly ask. If you wanted to correct anything, kindly correct, or comment, or kindly reflect if you have anything on it. Okay, thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Okay, so again here, these are all documents, whatever I'm referring here, showing here. I'm just putting in a chat here. These are all our Expert Sangha's documents, and it is accessible for everyone, all the pictures, documents, and everything. These are read only. Okay. Any questions related to this? Okay, first part may be interesting, later parts sometimes it may be bit it is too excessive, but everything is so beautiful when we are just reading and understanding all this.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam Prabhuji. It was myself and Krishna here listening, and the younger ones were also around. So it was the first time that I attended, and this is like very nice. This is very beautiful explanation that you gave. Obviously, it needs more understanding, and thank you very much to you for all your effort. I also wanted to say that this is not Uxbridge Sangha. This seems to be Oxbridge. This seems to be spiritual Oxbridge. Oxford and Cambridge combined together. So that was our realization. Thank you so much.
Thank you for my very beautiful comments. Any other questions?
Prabhuji, I have a question. I didn't understand something, and I'm sorry about that. I think around verse 9 or 10, you said something about that the pain and pleasure is experienced
Yes.
by the Purusha.
Yes. Karyam Karyam Kartritvam, that is very beautiful shloka, but Prakrutehe Purushaha Param. This is the Karya Karan Kartritve Karanam Prakritim Viduhu. 8th shloka. It's the Karya Karana Kartritve Karanam Prakritim Viduhu Bhoktritve Sukadukkanam Purushaha Prakruteh Param Sukadukkanam. Yes, Mataji?
So what I didn't understand was that the Lord is experiencing the pleasure and pain because the Lord is in the body of.
So here,
Didn't understand that.
Conditioned soul.
Yeah, so the conditioned soul goes through the pain and pleasures.
Yes.
But the Purusha, the Lord inside, who is also experiencing that.
No, Lord does not experience.
Okay, yeah, because they don't get affected by any modes of material nature or anything like that. So they don't experience, do they?
And in fact, even the living entity is also far away from it. Individual soul, actually, in reality, it does not get affected by the material things, but he experiences pains and pleasures. So I'm feeling good, I'm feeling pain, like that. But actually, in reality, it is not affected by all these changes. But changes, etat kshetram samasena sadikaram budaprutam. Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, 13th chapter, I think 5-6 slokas there, he gives a little brief information on it. So it is just only changes within the body, but soul, it just experiences it, but it is not affected. But based on this experiences, it will carry out this conception to the next body. Sariram id avapnoti yachap putra matishwaraha gruhitva etani samyati vayurgandhan ivashayat. It will take the conceptions of the pains and pleasures to the next. But what we are here, so we're not affected by it. Coming to the pure consciousness is called Vasudeva Sthiti. This is Asevyayam Prakrutir Gunanam Yogena Jnanena Vairagya Vijrumpetena Yogena Maya Arpitayacha Bhaktya Mam Pratyagatmanam Iha Avarunde. That is, purified soul, he will experience a Jivan Mukta state. Jivan Mukta, though he is in the body, he experienced that it is liberation within the body. But here, conditioned soul, who is not yet come to that Vasudeva state, he experiences those pains and pleasures. Sukha Dukkhanam. He is called Purusha. But again, Bhutendri Antahkarana Pradhana Jiva Sanjita Atma Tata Prudak Drashta Bhagavan Brahma Sanjitaha. The Lord is Brahma Sanjitaha. This is Jiva Bhutta is the one with material elements. Both are in the same body. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Any other questions? It is mostly technical. It is the longest chapter. Sometimes one may feel a bit.
Sorry,
But
Prabhu, children are with me, so sorry about that.
yeah, it takes plenty of time to understand. It's been going through this one for I think so few years as well. Again, going through, again studying. whenever you get a chance, study this chapter. Of course, okay, but here mainly concentration on the super soul. That is the essence of this chapter. So dividing everything, separating matter from the spirit. Okay, that is the essence of it. Pati Mataji?
Yeah, probably exactly as you explained, this chapter is really sophisticated and really elaborate, and thank you for simplifying it and explaining it to us. And it seems like this is almost like a corporation being run with delegated powers to different deities and expansions of the Lord, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, Anirudh, Vasudev. So it's amazing that you think, there is just one controller, but that's how there are presiding deities over different senses and so on. So thank you for explaining all of that in detail. And you simplified it so much for us. So really appreciate it. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Anything else, dear devotees? If there are no questions, then we can conclude our session for tonight.
So is this Sangha every Friday evening, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji. So this Sangha, it runs on Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday and Friday. But Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, different facilitators do it. I get this opportunity on Friday.
Okay, and what happens on Prabhuji Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday? Wednesday is the Kirtan. Is that the same?
No, that is a different Sangha, Mataji. This is chart group Sangha, chapter a day, chart plus, and this is only Srimad Bhagavatam, where Jyoti Mataji and Shriji Kishwariji Mataji, and they
Okay.
maintain and they give me opportunity to speak on Fridays. So here, different facilitators from the Bhaktivedanta Manor, like Krishna Govinda Prabhuji on Sunday, and Mondays and Wednesday. Wednesdays, Vrindavan Das Prabhuji. Mondays, like different devotees, Mamta Mataji, Madan Prabhuji, and
Okay. Prabhuji, can I ask you on the next Sunday when it will be next, then we would continue from chapter 27?
yes, Mataji, correct. Yes,
It will be in that order.
yes. Krishna Govinda Prabhuji is going to speak on Sunday. Yes,
Right. Thank you.
Mataji. Okay, anything else, dear devotees? Gayatri Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Very beautifully you have explained, Prabhuji. Actually, I asked this question once, but I'm again asking this question to you, Prabhuji. Basically, when we are talking about the deities for each and every, like for seeing there is a deity, for taste there is a deity. So predominate presiding deities who are in, are they within our body, Prabhuji, or what happens? Because at the time of the death of this body, what happens to all the deities which are within our body?
Thank you, Mataji. So here these are predominating deities. We are predominated, they are predominating deities for the functions. They will oversee those functions. Okay, I think there is for example, if we take to the essential deities like Brahma and the moon and then Lord Shiva. So they are only carrying out overseeing that function of that particular sense. That is what presiding deity means. So when the body is gone, there is no function for that body.
Yes, Prabhuji. So only thing is they are just controlling.
But just
So
controlling, yes.
So when the body is gone, automatically the control over our senses like seeing or touching, smelling, all those things will be completely no more control over. They don't control them anymore.
Yes. So this is
Okay,
like
Prabhuji.
when the super soul he leaves, all the demigods also leaves with him. So just like in the one analogy in the Kurukshetra battle, Krishna and Arjuna and the chariot. First, Krishna asks Arjuna, you get on first, and then later on, the Lord comes out from the chariot. Then chariot turns into ashes, and Arjuna was surprised. And initially, Arjuna was hesitating to go first. Lord Krishna, you got down first, but later on, Arjuna comes down, and Krishna, and then Arjuna asks, why this chariot got turned to ashes? Krishna says, because I am present, this chariot was preserved. When I'm getting down, this chariot got burnt to the ashes. So by the time there are so many arrows by Bhishma, Drona, so many things were used on the chariot. Even our body is also like that. It is also, as long as Lord is here, this body is maintained. Lord leaves and body turned into ashes. But here, while Lord is present, all other demigods are also along with the Lord. They perform different kinds of activities. When we worship the Lord Krishna, then all other demigods are also pleased. If we worship any particular demigod, only the demigod. But Krishna always says that you do it only unto me, not to the demigods separately.
Yes, Prabhuji, I understood very nicely, because I used to think that they are also like deities are within the body, but it's just, yes, Prabhuji, clear, very clear. So thank you, Prabhuji, nicely explained, giving the example of Kurukshetra, after the Kurukshetra battle, how, and even now many people ask like what happened to the horses in the in the chariot. So the horses are representing our senses, so basically they all burnt into ashes.
There, the four white horses that Chitraratha has given to Arjuna, they are the divine horses. They are divine horses. And the horses are separated from the chariot before chariot was burnt to the ashes.
Oh, okay, Prabhuji.
So
Okay,
horses did not burn. Horses were separated.
Okay, Prabhuji. I was thinking that the horses, somewhere it was written that the horses also were burnt. So, oh, good, Prabhuji. I got a proper, clear clarity now. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Any questions? Okay, so no questions. Then we shall conclude our session for tonight. Okay, thank you so much. Vanchakalpatarabhyascha
Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Gaudiya Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Mata ki jai.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, Hare Krishna.